Hey guys, Casey in the kitchen, and we are talking turkey today. So I am actually going to show you how I'm going to prep my turkey. I am doing it in our 14 by 10 enameled cast iron pan. This is a beauty, and it's going to roast this just to perfection. I'm so excited about this. Okay, so in here I have about a 12 or 13 pound turkey. It's recommended to go up to 15. I've heard a few people say they've done like 17 pound, even 18 pound. Recommended 15 pound turkey. Today I'm doing about a 12 to 13 pound turkey. So what I've done is, of course, thaw it. Don't forget to thaw your turkey long enough. It can take up to a week to thaw out in the fridge. So make sure it's completely thawed out. Get that out in enough time. I have taken all the extras, all the stuff inside out, the bag of stuff, the giblets and stuff, and the neck and all that out. And then I've gone ahead and started to prep because I'm actually going to season and butter inside the skin of the turkey, because typically we don't end up eating the skin of the turkey. So this way it's actually flavoring the meat. And then I am adding in another element, another tip I learned, I'm sharing with you guys. We're actually gonna roast this turkey breast side down. Typically you would leave it breast side up, but we're gonna cook it in the oven. And that's another thing, we're gonna cook this in the oven all night long. So on Turkey Day, guess what? Your oven's free for other things, and it's gonna cook super low and super slow, and it's gonna fall apart, completely fall apart, which is a good thing because that means it's super tender and moist. So what I've done so far is I took a pair of our shears here, and I've just started separating just by going like this and pulling these apart. As I'm in there, I'm pulling away at the skin. You can also do it with your hands. I am gloved up today to help with any spreading of anything at the end. So basically all you're gonna do is get in there and pull that skin away from the meat. So get all the way down there and just kind of tear at it. You can do it with your hands, you can do it with the shears, whatever you need to do. Because the next step, what you're gonna do is actually season it. And so today I am using, okay, I'll disinfect this later. So this is the seasoning I'm using. It's what we've used the last couple of years, and we have loved it. So I have some in a bowl here, and I'm just gonna start putting that all down inside of there, get it nice and seasoned. This is just gonna be delicious. Okay, so we've got that all seasoned and butter, and notice that I put those pads of butter under the skin because, again, I want it to flavor the meat and not necessarily the skin, okay? So next up, we are gonna stuff this with veggies. Instead of doing like a typical turkey stuffing, we love the veggies that are marinated in this seasoning and the butter and the juice of the turkey. So I'm taking onion and carrot and celery here. I've got some lemon cut up, which is a great addition. That little bit of flavor, a little bit of acidity to help flavor everything. So I'm just gonna stuff that as full as I possibly can. And then honestly, I'm just gonna stick the rest down in the bottom of the pan because, again, it's just gonna roast together and be delicious, honestly. So some of it'll fall out in the cooking process, and that's a-okay. All right, so now I'm gonna kind of push this down. Remember, we're cooking this breast side down because that way all those juices are going to run down into the white meat, which tends to be a little bit drier than your dark meat. Some onion over here. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so we've got all that. We've got our seasoning, our butter, our veggies stuffed inside of it. We are going to go ahead and season a little bit more on the outside. I'm actually gonna go ahead. I'll wash my hands here in a minute after touching this. I know I touched this earlier. Make sure, be really careful when you're doing stuff with raw meat because you just don't want to cross-contaminate anything. All right, so we've got a little extra seasoning on the outside here. So this is actually, I'm gonna take foil, I'm gonna cover it really nice and tight on the outside. If you have to use a couple of sheets of foil, get it nice and tight so there's no space in here. And I'm gonna cook this in the oven at 400 degrees for 1 hour. So like I said earlier, this is something you can do overnight, the night before, so that you have oven space, because after that 1 hour at 400, don't open the oven door, don't check the turkey, don't do anything. Just lower the temperature to between 200 and 250. And that kind of depends on how long you want it to go. So I'm gonna do 200. So 1 hour at 400, and then I'm gonna lower the temperature to 200, and it's gonna cook all night long. So that could be like 11 hours, but guess what? Because it's such a low temperature at 200, it could be clear up to 15 hours. And you don't need to worry about it. Or you can just keep it in there because it's just staying warm. It's not going to overcook, right? Okay, so there's my turkey. It's gonna go in the oven, and I'm gonna show you guys what happens when it's all done. Hello everybody, we are back. My turkey is all beautifully cooked. As you remember, I cooked this turkey overnight. So 400 degrees for 1 hour, and I had it tightly covered in foil all the way around, completely sealed, 2 pieces of foil to make sure to cover everything. 400 degrees for 1 hour, and then I didn't open the oven door or anything, just lower it to 200. At 200, I cooked it for another, I think it was like 12 hours, 12 or 13. You can go all the way up to 15 hours at that 200 degrees. It's super low and slow. You're not gonna dry it out or anything like that. So as you remember, this is breast side down to get all those juices to run down into the bulk of the meat on this turkey. So you can see he's already almost falling apart. I let this cool so that I could touch it and not get too hot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna transfer the meat into our rock crock here. This is the 4-quart Dutch oven rock crock. I'm gonna use some of the juice. You can see how much of the juice it makes. I'm so excited about that because we're gonna put some on here. We're gonna keep this warm for our meal. The oven is now free to cook everything else that we need for this meal. And then I'm gonna use the rest of the juice to make a gravy. Another awesome thing that you could use would be our insulated serving bowls. You just pour hot water in here, super hot water, and let it set for a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes or so, and then dump it out, wipe it out, and put your food in there. And that is gonna keep everything warm for several hours. So that is a great addition. This is the largest size we have. We have 3 sizes total. And then I'm just gonna put my scraps over here, and I'll make some broth with that. Again, this is definitely not for, see, I'm not even gonna need to carve this or anything. This is all just gonna fall apart. So I'm just gonna peel back the skin here. We don't typically eat the skin, but you do whatever you like to do for serving your turkey. Oh my goodness, this is just amazing. And this way I can prep all this ahead of time. See, I just like everything off the bone. I can prep all this ahead of time and have it ready to go. That way I'm not waiting on the turkey finishing or coming up to temperature or having to wait to carve it or any of that. See, this is just like falling apart. So excited. So there it is. There's your overnight turkey. Free up space in your oven. This was super easy to make. You just want to separate that skin, get a nice seasoning, whatever seasoning you like to use, and butter on the inside of that. Or you could use oil if you wanted to, if you have a certain kind of oil you like to use instead of butter. That would work as well. But you can see this is just gonna be delicious, tender, and quite amazing. So there it is, there's the turkey. I'll make broth, and I've got all those veggies in there too, and we will definitely eat up those veggies along with it. And enjoy.